Chapter 41 Who is the Victim? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Li Hong raised the steel pipe in his hand and pointed it at Meng Fan, and the younger brothers rushed towards Meng Fan. Such a beautiful woman makes everyone full of energy, but this is destined to be the decision they regret most in their lives. Before the first person could pounce on Meng Fan's cannon hammer and iron fist had already hit him in the face. With a scream, the younger brother flew out and hit a large group of his companions behind him. Meng Fan had already rushed into the crowd when the formation was in a panic. I am Chao, what the hell is this? So fast. Damn, I can't hit him. Old Wang, look clearly, don't chop me, you bastard. Meng Fan moved his fists left and right, like a god of war, and could knock away a younger brother with just one punch. The fists touch the flesh, the feet penetrate the heart. On the other hand, the younger brother's attack could not touch Meng Fan at all, and several of his own people were struck in the chaos. In just 5 or 6 seconds, all the dozen boys in the audience fell to the ground, wailing all over the place. Only Li Hong was left standing in the distance. He still kept pointing the steel pipe at Meng Fan, but his face was full of confusion. How long did it take before his brothers were wiped out by the group? Is this still the trash I know? Nima is too strong. On drugs? Chen Yao's pretty face turned red in the bushes. She thought that Meng Fan must have someone to rely on if he dared to go out, but she didn't expect that he would be so ridiculously strong. Suddenly the pupils shrank suddenly. Meng Fan, be careful. Boss, I caught him. The younger brother who fell at his feet suddenly hugged Meng Fan's thigh tightly. Well done. Li Hong took the opportunity to swing the steel pipe and threw it at Meng Fan. This move was powerful and heavy, going straight to the temple. Even a wild bull can be killed by this stick. If it falls on your body, your bones and tendons will be broken, but Meng Fan didn't move at all, only raising his right hand lightly. The steel pipe hit Meng Fan hard on his arm. Then, there is no more. Even the section of the steel pipe that hit the arm was deflated, and the entire steel pipe was bent several times. Meng Fan's lips twitched with a hint of joking. That's it. Li Hong was confused. And so was the younger brother on the ground. I ride on a horse. This is a steel pipe, the kind that can kill a buffalo if it's rounded. Meng Fan's arm was fine, but his steel pipe was bent. Who is this horse made of steel? The next second, the little brother who was hugging his thighs suddenly felt himself rising into the air. Meng Fan pulled out the whip leg, and the little brother hanging on his leg weighed more than 100 kilograms, but it seemed to be completely weightless, and it hit Li Hong heavily with the whip leg. The two of them were kicked 7 or 8 meters away. Li Hong fell to the ground, feeling severe pain all over his body as if he had been run over, liver and gallbladder split. Are you a human being when you step on a horse? Of course I'm human. Meng Fan picked up the steel pipe and heard the sound of metal tearing. The entire steel pipe was unexpectedly bent by Meng Fan. It was thrown in front of Li Hong with a clang. Tell me why Li Yandong suddenly dealt with me. Although Meng Fan let Li Yandong take the blame, he didn't come to find trouble in the past, and today he suddenly sought revenge. This is not right. Don't want me to betray my brother. Li Hong's face turned red from holding back his words, and his face looked fierce, but his body betrayed him. While shaking his legs, he kept peeing, apparently scared to death. Meng Fan stepped on Li Hong's arm. There was a click and the bones were shattered. Ah! Li Hong rolled around on the ground holding his severed hand and wailing. Explain. Meng Fan stepped on Li Hong's face. It's your wife. Li Hong did not dare to neglect and told the news of Lu Linlin's visit to Li Yandong. Others didn't know the details, but Li Hong heard from Li Yandong that the child in Lu Linlin's belly might be his, so Li Yandong decided to teach Meng Fan a lesson. Of course you have to protect your own woman. Okay, Lu Linlin, you bitch is so good. A cruel sneer appeared on Meng Fan's face. The anger in my chest was satisfied. I thought this bitch just got pregnant with Luo Tianyo's child. Unexpectedly, she actually secretly had an affair with Li Yandong. The child may even be Li Yandong's. I still know this. How many cuckolds did Lu Linlin wear on herself behind her back? I can't thank you enough for telling me this news. Li Hong was still stunned, and a sharp pain hit him the next second. Meng Fan kicked him in the knee, and his calf instantly bent at a creepy angle. Crush. Ah, my legs, my legs. Meng Fan, you bastard, bastard. A shrill wail pierced the night. Meng Fan stood up and looked at the others. It's your turn. Stop, what are you doing there? Put down your weapons. Several flashlights dangled closer from a distance. There happened to be police patrolling nearby, and Li Hong's screams alerted them. When they arrived at the scene, the 4 patrol officers were a little confused, gathering a crowd to fight with weapons, an absolutely vicious case. But something was wrong at the scene. Why is it that while the victim is standing there, the armed party is being abused? Who is the victim here? Put your hands up and follow me to the police station. Meng Fan was also taken back to the police station and park surveillance was called in. The entire police station gasped. More than a dozen thugs, with weapons, were beaten half to death by Meng Fan alone, like a father beating his son. Even these professionally trained patrolmen couldn't do it. Everyone looked at Meng Fan with almost petrified eyes. Meng Fan calmly smoked a cigarette. I said, I was acting in self-defense. Can you let me go now? Of course. The police chief was full of smiles. Then Meng Fan took out a stack of cash, a full 40,000, and pushed it in front of the police chief. The brothers who patrol at night are very hard. Please use this money to buy some supper for everyone. As for those garbage, I'll leave it to you brothers. Although they didn't have a good time, it didn't prevent Meng Fan from continuing to increase the intensity of Li Hong. They were all smart people. Of course they understood what Meng Fan meant. No problem. We have long wanted to teach these scum a lesson. Everyone in the interrogation room was smiling, but Li Hong and others in another interrogation room were miserable. Although there are regulations prohibiting the use of lynching, there are many ways to deal with you if you really want to. For example, the interrogation room camera suddenly loses power. Hearing the wailing in the interrogation room next door, Meng Fan happily lit a cigarette. In addition, I want to keep the videos of several nearby surveillance cameras as a souvenir. Is it okay? Of course. The police chief handed the surveillance video to Meng Fan and deleted the backup in front of him. He personally sent Meng Fan to the door. Everyone is happy. As soon as Meng Fan sat in the McLaren P1, he felt a beauty throwing himself into his arms. Woo woo woo, I was scared to death when that man hit you just now. Why are you so reckless? Chen Yao's hands were shaking as she hugged Meng Fan. I'm fine, I'm tough. Can it be as hard as steel? Let me see your hand, hurry up. Chen Yao insisted on lifting Meng Fan's arm, and saw a blue mark on it. Crying with a broken heart, Meng Fan didn't care. It's just a little sore, it will be fine in 2 days. It's all my fault. If I hadn't asked you to meet in the park, it would have been fine. Squad leader, when did you become so crybaby? But Chen Yao didn't care about that. She insisted that it was her responsibility to go back and apply medicine to Meng Fan herself. Meng Fan could only reluctantly take Chen Yao back to his home. Of course, the medicine went bad in the second half of the application. Meng Fan, why are you taking off your clothes? Aren't you going to apply medicine on my arm? Then why did you take off your pants too? My brother said he was feeling a little uncomfortable too, and wanted you to help apply some medicine. Meng Fan, be serious. Chapter 42 System shows off its operation. Master, I can do it. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Another sleepless night. Remember the domain name of this site, Taiwan Novel Network. Of course, this is only for Meng Fan. Chen Yao lay down before she could hold on until the second half of the night, completely lost consciousnness, did nothing, just lay there all night, truly became a life master. When the two opened their eyes, it was already 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Ah! I missed the train back home. It's all your fault. Why did you pull me to the second half? Why didn't you call me up? Chen Yao punched Meng Fan. Meng Fan felt refreshed now. The taste of a 90-point beauty is really unique. Originally, Meng Fan felt it was outrageous after tasting Shen Yanran, Zhao Muqing, Li Shiqi, and Jiang Xinya, but now he knows why 90 points is rated as 90 points. It turns out that appearance is only one aspect. To become a 90-point beauty, the main thing is to have inner qualities. Meng Fan almost couldn't get out of Chen Yao's little maze. It was just too good, but then he thought, Chen Yao is so outstanding with 90 points, how much better will Bai Feifei, SSS level beauty with 92 points, be? He looked forward to it more and more. It was you who asked me to leave you an unforgettable memory. Besides, my little cutie is sleeping like a pig, I really can't bear to wake you up. Hate, hate, hate. Wow, if you miss this train, you have to wait another day. As soon as he finished speaking, he met Meng Fan's burning eyes. Maybe, it's good to miss it. This thought immediately scared Chen Yao. No. I want to leave. Otherwise, I will definitely be bullied by you every day if I stay here. Wow. I can't walk. Meng Fan wanted to laugh when he saw Chen Yao's funny look with her legs apart. I didn't expect that after being opened up, Chen Yao's inner heart was so cute. Suddenly I wanted to taste this delicacy again. Holding her hand. Yao Yao, I think you should not leave. Meng Fan's sudden seriousness made Chen Yao stunned. She lowered her head and smiled bitterly. Where can I go if I don't leave? I don't have a home in Jiangqing anymore. In Jiangqing, she experienced family changes and her mother passed away. Now Chen Yao just wants to escape from this sad place. Meng Fan suddenly changed the subject. If I say tomorrow is the end of the world, do you believe it? Chen Yao chuckled and said, if you want me to stay, just say it directly, why make up such a lame excuse? But then she met Meng Fan's serious eyes. Are you serious? Just tell me whether you believe it or not. Reason told Chen Yao that it was impossible, but if it was Meng Fan. I believe it. Meng Fan scratched Chen Yao's nose. Beautiful, well-behaved, kind, and most importantly, obedient and not pretentious. What a good partner, both physically and mentally, decided. I'll show you something. Meng Fan took Chen Yao upstairs, and after the password, fingerprint, and iris recognition, he opened the safe cabin. Seeing the weapons and equipment stored inside, Chen Yao was shocked. You are really preparing? Of course. This is the first time that Meng Fan has revealed his biggest secret to his woman, but now there is a problem. The goddess has it, but how to activate these weapons and equipment to return 10,000 times. Bullets can be solved by consumption, but things like guns and grenades are not easy to deal with. You can't just throw them away, or just detonate the grenade directly. That will make a big noise. Ding, the master can guide Chen Yao to disassemble and assemble the guns and equipment. As long as the assembly is completed, the system will consider it as consumption and return 10,000 times for you. The system seemed to guess Meng Fan's thoughts and gave a prompt in advance before she opened her mouth. It is worthy of being her own system. But there is still a problem. Meng Fan's knowledge of guns is all learned from movies, only staying at the stage of pulling the trigger and loading the bullet, and knowing nothing about maintenance, cleaning and disassembly. This can't be reassembled after disassembling it. The system started its performance at this moment. This is easy to do. Ding, start checking the owner's hidden points. The owner's current hidden points are 2, less than 3 points. The hidden points redemption permission cannot be opened. Ding. Since the owner cannot obtain the hidden points redemption permission, the system will be upgraded and the bug will be improved. System upgrading. 10%, 24%, 59%, 100%. The system has been upgraded, and the requirement for opening the hidden points redemption permission will be 2 points. Congratulations to the owner, you have successfully opened the system's hidden points redemption permission. A series of cool operations shocked Meng Fan's jaw. The tough guy was stunned. It was obviously that his hidden points were not enough, but the system forced Meng Fan to meet the requirements. This. What kind of fairy repair function is this? System, you are a bit too awesome. Master, don't worry. On the premise of ensuring the survival needs of the master, continuously improving the system functions is also one of the main tasks of this system. Master, please don't forget that this system is always committed to bringing the master a better Doomsday experience. This system will strive for this goal for the rest of its life. Meng Fan was almost moved to tears. Awesome, nothing but awesome. Searching for the list of hidden points that can be exchanged. The exchangeable target has been found. The exchangeable items are, Master Level various types of gun maintenance skills, Master Level various types of gun shooting skills, Master Level various types of gun fighting skills, Master Level hand-to-hand combat skills, Master Level sharp blade killing skills. A lot of them were listed, and Meng Fan was numb, ecstasy. The system is really good, there are so many things to exchange. I just hate that I have too few points for 2 points, and I can't exchange them all. But then I heard the system speak. It is detected that the owner is using the hidden points exchange service for the first time, and the system has opened a passionate promotion for novice exchange. All the above skill type exchange products, packaged at a fixed price, 1 hidden point. Really, system, you are so considerate that I want to die. How can you do this? I thought the system had been silent for a long time and didn't play a role, but in the end, it directly gave me a big one. Meng Fan cried to death. Exchange successful, please check it, master. Meng Fan felt that there was suddenly a lot of knowledge in his mind. Not only that, his muscles also had a deep memory of these skills, he could easily complete the corresponding tactical actions without thinking. I can only say, this cheat is outrageous. Then a bold idea came up. Then can you help me change the hidden points directly to 100 million and activate the final welfare state? System. Sorry, master, the system can only improve its functions within the allowed range. Your request. I can't do it. The request is indeed a little bit too much. Yes, this system is also his own ability. If he wants to directly activate the ultimate state, then this ability is too abnormal. It only took a moment from the system upgrade to the completion of the exchange. Chen Yao felt that Meng Fan was only stunned for a moment, and the whole person quickly changed. Come, I'll teach you how to play with a gun. Oh my god, where did you learn these from? Chen Yao was surprised, but she also knew that this was related to her future, so she studied very seriously. One by one, the guns and equipment were disassembled, and all were returned 10,000 times. But Meng Fan didn't stop. How could a 10,000-fold return be enough? He had to disassemble them repeatedly. The materials that had been returned 10,000 times could still be activated to return 10,000 times. There would be no end to the descendants. In the end, everything was piled up in Meng Fan's system warehouse, but as he played with them, the guns changed. After all, they were alone, and the guns in their hands needed maintenance, and Meng Fan's gun also needed maintenance. The triangular holster needed to be taken off and carefully washed from bottom to top. With water, Chen Yao obediently helped Meng Fan do a full set of gun maintenance, and was so tired that she lay on the sofa panting. She didn't even want to eat lunch, because she was full. Press the silencer and practice shooting in the room first. That room is a small shooting range. I'll go out for a while. Meng Fan left the shelter and went downstairs to make the final preparations. Fill up the car with gas, secretly install your own private remote monitoring around the community, complete the network, and recheck the supplies and weapons and equipment in order to prevent omissions. He also took the time to remind his women in the middle of the journey. It is very important to let them stock up on food and water, especially sealed food. Bai Feifei was a Doomsday boss in her previous life, and Meng Fan provided modification suggestions, so there is no need to worry at all. Meng Fan did not want to rashly expose the secret of his rebirth. As for Jiang Xinyao, this cheap girlfriend, she has not contacted me in the past few days. Maybe they are really a pair of Mandarin ducks who have gone their separate ways after being greedy for pleasure. It doesn't matter, but Meng Fan will not shirk the responsibility that a man should bear. According to the number on the paper, Meng Fan sent an anonymous reminder message. Let her stock up more supplies, then hide in a high-rise building and don't run around. If there is no place to go, live in her presidential suite. It is safe enough on the top floor of the Cadessa Hotel. Anyway, there is also a room card given to her by Meng Fan. The reminder is over, and there is one last thing. Meng Fan sprinkled all kinds of poison such as rat poison and cockroach poison that he bought around, and then dragged gasoline to pour on the bushes around his building. The ornamental flowers were burned clean in one fire. The residents of the surrounding buildings were all stunned when they saw this scene. Soon the whole community exploded. Damn it, look, someone actually set a fire downstairs. Who the hell did this? I planted cacti. I just saw a figure wandering downstairs. I don't know who it is. Damn, this guy is not a lunatic, is he going to burn all of us to death? It must be a perverted arsonist. Call the police. The whole community was full of shouts, and the owner's group was also exploded, guessing who this person was, but Meng Fan calmly returned to the shelter. There was no use calling, because Meng Fan calculated the time to act, and the police and fire brigade could not get here. Pour a glass of red wine and stand in front of the balcony floor-to-ceiling window overlooking the night view of the city. He raised his glass and drank it all. Under his feet, a ruthless fire spread. It was as if the whole world was being reborn under Meng Fan's feet. Doomsday, come. I'm ready. Chapter 43. The end is finally here. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It was 12 o'clock in the middle of the night. Boom. The residents were still busy calling the fire department when a thunderclap suddenly sounded in the sky. The sudden dark clouds covered the sky and heavy rain poured down. The rustling sound instantly blocked out the noise of the whole world. The fire burning downstairs was quickly extinguished by the heavy rain, leaving only a mess of charred wreckage. The residents of the community no longer called the fire department, and went back to sleep one after another while breathing a sigh of relief, but they didn't know that half an hour after the heavy rain, the dark clouds became thicker, and the moon behind turned into a blood moon hanging in the sky. With the heavy rain, blood-colored fog inexplicably began to form on the ground. The thin blood fog quickly thickened, and the visible distance quickly shrank from hundreds of meters to less than 5 meters. It accumulated and grew rapidly, like a rising water surface that quickly covered the first floor, penetrating every hole. The blood fog was not only extremely humid, but also had a pungent sour smell. The residents on the first floor were soon awakened by violent coughing. What is this? Cough, 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 I'm dying of coughing. I'm allergic to pollen. Who is putting poison outside? Cough, cough, cough. Is it acid rain? Help, I can't see anything. Tears keep flowing. Neighbors in the corridor, how are your homes? Those who have the conditions immediately put on masks, and those who don't have the conditions covered their mouths and noses with clothes, and rushed into the corridor with hazy eyes, asking around, but no one knows what's going on. They can feel as if they were suddenly thrown into the bottom of the sea, and they can't see their hands in front of them. The brave people tried to walk into the rain to see what was going on. But soon all kinds of screams broke out in various parts of the community. It hurts, this rain is poisonous. Help, this is acid rain, my umbrella is corroded. Everyone, run back quickly, don't go out. The people who were caught in the rain rushed back to their residential buildings in a hurry. In just a short while, many people were burned on large areas of their bodies, and the parts that were caught in the rain quickly rotted, which was shocking. Where is the doctor? We need a doctor. Call 120 quickly. It was only then that they realized that there were too many people asking for help in Jiangcheng, and the hospital's phone number was completely unreachable. Get in my car. A big brother with a gold chain hanging around his neck greeted the injured neighbor's family and hurried to the underground garage to drive, but the vehicle was corroded beyond recognition as soon as it drove into the rain, and the tires were directly corroded and blew out by the acid rain on the ground. They were so scared that they quickly turned over the rear cover of the car and fled back to the underground garage. There were corroded wounds all over their bodies, and they were naked. There was no rescue, and their faces were full of despair. They could only flee upstairs with their families, but the fog was still growing, and the second floor was quickly submerged, and it barely stopped until the third floor fell. The corridor was full of residents downstairs. Many people were burned by the acid rain that came in through the windows. They were naked and covered with wounds. Kind neighbors brought mineral water and disinfectant to wash their wounds, disinfect and bandage them. Crying filled the corridor. Everyone turned on their phones to check the news, only to find that it was not just Jiangcheng, but the whole world was shrouded in acid rain and fog. Police, fire, hospital, logistics, all stopped. Even the army was paralyzed. There were calls for help everywhere on the internet, and photos and videos of injured people were everywhere. One of the videos was the most shocking. The acid rain caused a series of car accidents on the road, and the scene was tragic. Several injured people and survivors were trapped in the car, and there was endless blood fog outside. The heavy rain kept washing the car body, and the hissing sound of corrosion was like a death knell counting down. Help, we are at the intersection of Donghua Road. There are 3 of us in the car. Has anyone nearby seen this video? My father's leg is broken and he is in a coma. He needs to go to the hospital urgently. Please help us. The mother and daughter in the car cried bitterly to the phone. The husband who fainted was in their arms. They kept giving out addresses and hoped that people around them would lend them a hand, but who can save them? In this high concentration of acid rain, who can save them? Who dares to save them? Despair spread rapidly. The lights were bright in the large duplex, there was a table full of delicious food on the dining table in the living room, and only a few bites of each dish were eaten. Meng Fan, holding a cigarette, stood calmly on the balcony and looked outside. The entire balcony was fully enclosed and tightly sealed. Special anti-corrosion materials were used, and an additional anti-corrosion layer was applied. Not a drop of rain could get in, the heavy rain kept washing on the tempered glass, and under the refraction of light and shadow in the room, it actually added a kind of beautiful and dreamy atmosphere. But Meng Fan was still not satisfied. The rain was obviously not deep enough, and the room was still stuffy. In this case, let's turn on the central air conditioning. Soon the last trace of stuffiness disappeared, comfortable. In the previous life, Meng Fan, like everyone else, was struggling to survive in the Doomsday, but in this life, others are still struggling to survive. But I have opened the fine wine and champagne, enjoying this chaotic and disordered world. Speaking of enjoyment, Meng Fan put out the cigarette but at the corner of his mouth and looked back. Chen Yao was sitting on the sofa in a sling silk pajamas, holding a happy bucket of McNaughty chicken snacks and eating happily. Her little mouth kept smacking, and she kept checking the news on the internet through her mobile phone. Every time she was shocked, her round weapon would jump twice. It's so scary, the end of the world is really here. Look at those people on the internet, they are so pitiful. The more he talked, the more moved he was, and the little crybaby wanted to cry again. After that, he threw the bones of the finger-licking original chicken into the trash can, and put his fingers into his mouth one by one to suck them clean. Gulp. Meng Fan watched Chen Yao's fingers go in and out of her little mouth, and inexplicably felt that he was a little hungry again. Ahem, calm down, I just ate in the afternoon. If you eat too much nutritious food, your little baby will get fat. Meng Fan sat next to Chen Yao, and Chen Yao immediately tore the meat on the finger-licking original chicken nuggets into strips and carefully stuffed them into Meng Fan's mouth. Since it's finger-licking original chicken, how can you not suck your fingers? Chen Yao's face was flushed. This guy wants to start a war again. Continue to pretend that you don't know anything, delay as long as you can. It would be great if other sisters could help me share the burden. This thought scared Chen Yao. Oh my god, how could I think like this? But thinking back to the madness of last night and today, Chen Yao calmed down again. In just one day, she had already understood a fact: one person can't handle it at all. I need external help. Meng Fan had no idea about Chen Yao's little thoughts. I was turning on the TV, and various news were playing on it. Large-scale acid rain has fallen on our city. The relevant government departments call on the public to reduce going out as much as possible and wait for rescue at home. The municipal government has organized an expert team to hold an emergency meeting and will organize a disaster relief team as soon as possible. Please rest assured. The reporter has contacted the director of the Meteorological Bureau. The director said that this rainfall covers the entire Longhua. It is not possible to estimate when it will stop. Please wait patiently at home for further notice. Various news came out frequently, highlighting a lot of nonsense. Reduce going out. Can you go out now? They are all talking nonsense. Chen Yao couldn't help but complain. I also understand that the government can do nothing under this acid rain, but no one except Meng Fan knows that even this acid rain is only the first stage of Doomsday. When the acid rain ends, something even more terrible will come. Chapter 44: Meng Fan's Limit and Chen Yao's Awakening. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In order to better deal with the Doomsday, Meng Fan now needs to make some preparations. For example, feeding his woman with the fruit of strength. Meng Fan took out those power grapes like a magic trick. Come on, open your mouth. Chen Yao has seen Meng Fan's magic tricks. Although she doesn't know what this is, she believes that Meng Fan will not harm her. she immediately felt changes in her body after eating it. Meng Fan, I feel that my strength has increased, and my body seems to be stronger. Yes, many things have mutated after the blood mist came. This is the mutated grape, which can enhance the power attribute. But the blood mist has only been here for 2 minutes. Where did you get such a big basin? Facing the ignorant and curious Chen Yao, Meng Fan decided not to explain, directly increased the intensity. Really, why ask so many questions? Even delicious food can't stop your mouth. Meng Fan fed with love until the power grapes completely lost their effect on Chen Yao. The surge in strength made Chen Yao's eyes full of excitement. Honey, I'm so awesome now. When she turned around, she saw Meng Fan taking out a huge barbell from the gym with one hand. The weight was 200 kilograms. The weight plates on both sides made Chen Yao tremble with fear. He threw it to Chen Yao. Catch it. Ah. I can't lift something so heavy. She instinctively reached out to catch it, then she held it steadily in her arms. She only took 2 steps back, without even bending her waist, looking at the dark and heavy weight plates on both sides of the barbell in her hand. Chen Yao was stunned for 3 seconds. She had watched the Olympics and knew that the world record for men's 61 kilograms clean and jerk was only 175 kilograms. But now she could hold this 200-kilogram barbell steadily in her arms. The most important thing was to catch it, which was much more difficult than simply picking it up from the ground. Meng Fan turned herself into a superwoman with just a few pots of fruit. It was outrageous. But Chen Yao knew that it was not her who was outrageous, but Meng Fan. Who can throw a 200 kilograms barbell around for fun? He asked weakly. Meng Fan, how heavy is the barbell you usually use for exercise? 800 kilograms. 0.800 kg. But then Meng Fan added. Because the maximum weight of the barbell I bought is only 800 kilograms. Oh my god. It turns out that 800 kilograms is the limit of the barbell, not Meng Fan's limit. Is Meng Fan really a human? Chen Yao couldn't help but wail. No wonder it's so hard to get through the night. It seems that I have to find more power fruits to eat in the future, but then I thought about it. If she can eat, can Meng Fan not eat? After all the calculations, it seems that I am the one who suffers in the end. This is a vicious cycle. Help, who can help her share the burden? I can't bear it anymore. Meng Fan has no idea what Chen Yao is thinking, and all his attention is on the power grapes that increase Chen Yao's power. The effect is really satisfactory. Chen Yao's current strength should have reached the peak of 4 stars if it is not 5 stars, which is stronger than most men, let alone self-protection. It would be good if she does not go out to bully others in the future. Ding ding ding, a video call came in at this time. Li Shiqi's face was full of panic, and even her makeup was a little smudged. It seems that she should have seen Meng Fan's reminder to stay at home. This acid rain is terrible. Fortunately, I received your reminder and postponed my duty tonight. Are you okay over there? Li Shiqi sat in front of the camera, and she wanted to crawl through the mobile phone screen and get into Meng Fan's arms. Those affectionate eyes were just short of licking the screen with her tongue. Li Shiqi's performance was all within Meng Fan's expectations, but Meng Fan was not at ease with Li Shiqi, so he did not plan to take her to his shelter from the beginning. This time may be sincere, or it may be false. In short, time will prove everything. If it is sincere, Meng Fan will take her back, but if it is false, then death is death. Anyway, I have had fun and have already obtained the hidden points, not a loss. After a few words of comfort, Shen Yanran called in just after I hung up the phone. She had obviously cried, and her eyes were swollen. Honey, I am so worried about you. Are you okay over there? Meng Fan treats Shen Yanran completely differently from Li Shiqi. After that week of retreat, both sides have understood each other's every inch. Shen Yanran is even more devoted to Meng Fan. Meng Fan hinted that the end of the world is coming and wanted Shen Yanran to move to the shelter. But Shen Yanran considered her elderly parents and decided to stay at home to take care of them after some hesitation. Meng Fan also respected her choice. The two were in Fenghua community, but they belonged to 2 different districts, east and west. It would be very convenient for Meng Fan to go there. I'm fine here, you should take care of yourself. I have more food here after you finish it. But remember one thing, lock the door at home and don't go anywhere. No matter what people outside say to you, don't open the door, and don't let other neighbors know that you have food here. I know, but I have something I must tell you. Shen Yanran hesitated. Luo Tianyu came to my house today to ask for reconciliation. I didn't agree, but he was also trapped here by the rain and left. But don't worry. I didn't let him into the house, and I won't let him touch me. I will only belong to you from now on. Shen Yanran was panicked, afraid that Meng Fan would misunderstand her. Meng Fan was very relieved that he had not loved Shen Yanran in vain these days. It was just a little unexpected. In the previous life, Luo Tianyu and Shen Yanran were trapped in the community when they visited Shen Yanran's parents, so Luo Tianyu had the opportunity to collude with the Lu family to plot against him. I thought that if I let Luo Tianyu and Shen Yanran quarrel, the fate would be different, but I didn't expect that this fat pig would still roll over. But being locked outside by Shen Yanran and unable to leave the residential building is equivalent to being trapped in the corridor, but it will soon become unsafe outside. Countless monsters will suddenly appear in all corners of the community, all the people outside will be torn to pieces. Meng Fan sneered, but there is no way, now even Meng Fan himself can't leave the building. It can only be said that Meng Fan is a little regretful that he can't kill Luo Tianyu with his own hands. It's really a bargain for this bastard to let him die so easily. Chen Yao's voice floated over as soon as he hung up the phone. Who are the two people who called just now? I heard it seemed to be a woman's voice. Two friends. Are they also very beautiful? Meng Fan was helpless. Chen Yao had been pretending to be indifferent while eating snacks, but her eyes had been glancing at this side since just now. Don't make your ears stand up too obviously. Meng Fan knew that if he didn't make it clear, it might be more difficult to explain later. He simply stopped pretending. He hugged Chen Yao into his arms. Yao, I won't hide these things from you. You also know how strong my needs are. I have put a few women outside temporarily, and I will slowly bring them back. There may be more and more women around me in the future. I hope you can understand this. Meng Fan originally thought that it would take some effort, but Chen Yao cheered after hearing it. Great, when will you bring them over to live? That someone is competing with you for a man, why are you still excited? Is there something wrong with your brain? Chen Yao stuck out her tongue. She was too obvious. She hurriedly made an excuse, her waist thrust. I mean, those skills you obviously didn't just learn, you must have used them on other women before. But I know that men like all kinds of beauties. You are so rich and handsome, there must be countless women chasing you. It's normal to have had several girlfriends. Those two people on the phone just now are right. If you want to answer the phone, just answer it. It's really troublesome. Meng Fan was really touched, although I don't know why. Chen Yao was unexpectedly considerate. It's just that she seemed to have misunderstood Shen Yanran and Li Shiqi as her ex-girlfriends, but it doesn't matter, I can explain it slowly later. After eating and drinking, there was nothing to do. Meng Fan decided to play another game with Chen Yao. Yao, do you want to eat the original chicken? Yes. No, I don't. No, you just said you do. Don't be so tired, you can't force me to work, I just got off work. But Meng Fan didn't care about that, and was about to start the fight, when suddenly a hurried knock on the door interrupted the process of applying the sauce to the original chicken. Help, open the door. Chapter 45. The little princesses come in groups, open the door quickly. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Stop it, someone is knocking on the door. Chen Yao took the opportunity to push Meng Fan away and sat up with a red face. I was almost eaten just now. Meng Fan is very angry now. Who is knocking on the door in the middle of the night? Don't you know that it's entertainment time at night? Angrily, Meng Fan picked up the tablet and clicked on the access control camera of his home, Taiwan Novel Network. At the same time, Meng Fan also installed cameras with microphones in the hidden corners of each floor, and the pictures were presented to Meng Fan. The first thing he saw was the corridors on the first, second and third floors. The blood mist was everywhere, and the camera could not see anything except a red color. There was only the sound of whistling wind. The Video screen switched upwards. Most of the residents who were submerged in the blood mist had evacuated to the fourth floor. There were people everywhere in the corridor, and many wounded were lying on the ground howling. The camera angle was not very good, but the picture was very clear. Many people had clear wounds corroded by acid rain. Seeing this, Meng Fan began to frown slightly. Continue to switch up one floor at a time. There are still many people in the corridor, and they are continuing to move up, except for those injured who were burned by acid rain and could not move. Almost everyone else is moving upstairs, not only the residents of the first, second and third floors that have been flooded. Residents of higher floors are also afraid that their floors will be flooded. So they pack up important items and move upstairs, knock on the door of each house along the way, hoping that someone can accept them. Open the owner group of the west area of Fenghua community, and there are indeed voices for help everywhere. Who can let us in? Just stay for one night. It's damp and stuffy in the corridor after it rains. There are mosquitoes, flies and all kinds of reptiles. I can't sleep at all. Which handsome guy can take me in? I can give money. Hearing these remarks, Meng Fan wanted to laugh. These rich people didn't understand the situation one by one, and they still wanted to solve the problem with money. Money has become waste paper now, okay? Besides, if you really think that these people will follow the rules, you are totally wrong. Once the door is opened, everyone will rush in. Don't expect people to reason with you and follow the rules in the Doomsday, especially the rich. They are used to being pampered and cherish their lives more than ordinary people. The final outcome is basically a fight between the two sides, and whoever survives will get the house. Meng Fan has seen a lot of this kind of thing. It's not just Meng Fan who thinks so all the owners along the way did not open the door. At this moment, the migrating crowd has arrived at Meng Fan's door, and they are gathering more and more. With more than 100 people, they banged Meng Fan's door. My friend, I know that you are the only one living in your house, and there are many rooms available. We only need one room. We only need one room. My son's blood type attracts mosquitoes. There are too many mosquitoes after the rain, and my son can't stand it. Brother, just let me in for one night. I'm alone. Huh, you disturb my good things, and you still want me to save you. Do you really think I'm an idiot? Go find a place to stay. Don't cry at my door. I don't owe you anything. Some people were not happy about it, and a leading man squeezed in front of Meng Fan's door. He was a man, but he had long hair tied in a ponytail, a pure sissy. Meng Fan had some impression of him. LV Jechi, a beauty blogger who lived on the fourth floor, made a lot of money by selling lipsticks. He was so cheap as soon as he opened his mouth. I wonder why you talk like that. We are all neighbors and should help each other. Besides, we are all old residents here, and you are the only one who moved in. At this time, you should take this opportunity to try to get along with us. Besides, there are so many women outside. Can you bear to watch us lying in the cold corridor tonight? Are you still a man? His remarks must be recognized by everyone present, especially those fairies. Whether they are beautiful or not is another matter, but who is not the apple of the eye at home? My father is either the president of a group or a senior executive of a company. He looks down on nouveau riche like Meng Fan from the bottom of his heart. They are not even in the same class. It is already a great honor for him to come to his house, but he dares to close the door and make trouble in front of me. Who gave him the face? Yes, it's too extravagant for a grown man like you to live in a duplex. Can't we move in too? Now that the disaster is at hand, as a man, you should take the initiative to stand up and share the resources with us, instead of monopolizing these resources by yourself. We are all girls, and now we no longer consider whether it is dangerous to live in your house, but you, a grown man, still pretend. Is there any justice in the world? Why are you talking so much nonsense to him? I said, will you die if you just let us use it for a while? I am so irritable now that I am being stared at by mosquitoes. Do you want money? We will give it to you. I will give you 10,000 yuan a night. This is several times more expensive than the price of a 5-star hotel during the peak tourist season. You will make a fortune. He patiently pretended to be polite for a few words, but when he saw that it didn't work, he immediately showed his true colors. There are old residents here, and there are so many women. You, an old man who just moved in, should take this opportunity to contribute your home, please us and build a good relationship. If you have trouble in the future, we might be able to help you and ask your parents to help you. This is your best chance, don't be ignorant of promotion. Maid, there are still such idiots who can't distinguish the situation these days, that where does this bunch of trash who claim to be superior come from? When the Lu family came to visit, the gang not only tied up Lu Linlin and those 4 beasts and made a fuss in their own home, they also beat Chen Yao. I haven't even settled a score with you yet, and now you're homeless and begging for help at my doorstep, and you're still pretending to be a rich man with me. Pretending to be you. Press the communication switch and increase the volume to maximum. Get the fuck out of here. You can turn off the beauty filter one by one and take it out to your house. Do you think I like you? I don't even bother to do it when it's delivered to my door. If you disturb my sleep again, I will pour acid rain on your face and give you free plastic surgery. Meng Fan's thunderous voice erupted, and the entire corridor fell into dead silence. After living for so many years, he was actually scolded by a stinky man. He actually dared to scold himself. You, why do you talk like this? How can you be so uncivilized? Get out of here, get out of here. Meng Fan closed the door before he finished speaking. Looking at these faces for a second longer makes me feel sick, but looking back, I found something was wrong with Chen Yao's eyes. There was someone you know outside just now. Chen Yao shook her head, but last time when your ex-wife's family came to visit, some of them were there. They bullied you, right? Chen Yao nodded. Click on the automatic video of the door control and point to the 2 old things in it. These 2 people not only cursed, but they cursed extremely unpleasantly. The key point is that Chen Yao is a bitch who sells houses in the community just to seduce men. She also scolded her dead mother. Chen Yao could tolerate others, but Chen Yao couldn't bear scolding her mother. What's more, her mother couldn't get off the operating table because of an accident that day. Chen Yao always felt that she was cursed by these people. Any woman who dares to bully me is so damn brave. Seeing Meng Fan getting up, Chen Yao quickly stopped him. Don't go, what if we open the door and they rush in? They deserve it too. Besides, I just happened to teach you a lesson. In the last days, good people will be bullied by others, and good horses will be ridden by others. If you want to avoid being bullied, you must make no one dare to provoke you. A sneer appeared on Meng Fan's lips. I didn't plan to take care of you originally, but if you are looking for death, don't blame me. Chapter 46. Draw until you are satisfied. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At the door, Lu Jieqi and others were still stunned. How could this nouveau riche talk to them like this? The door opened the next second. Taiwan Novel Network. Circled them. Everyone immediately smiled with satisfaction. Empress Lu Jieqi said, that's right, you take everyone in for 2 days, and then we can add WeChat later. After the disaster, we will ask the neighborhood committee to send you a banner. Before he finished speaking, Meng Fan kicked Lu Jieqi in the chest with a big foot, and flew backwards and just knocked down the large group of fairies behind him. Oh my god, you dare to kick my chest. It hurts. I can't breathe. My bones seem to be broken. Lu Jieqi covered her chest and wailed, and every breath was painful. It hurts, why are you so barbaric? You dare to hit me. Many little fairies were shocked and angry, and they climbed up and stretched out their little claws to scratch Meng Fan's face. The next second, many fairies' eyes went dark almost at the same time. Meng Fan's big pussy had already hit them in the face. Bang bang bang. Everyone has it, and never misses it. It just highlights the equality of all beings. All the fairies fell to the ground with their faces covered, and they were visibly red and swollen. The burning pain made them at a loss. This guy, he really dared to hit. Unspeakable grievances surged in their hearts. They all cried with a wow. Shut up. If you cry again, I will throw you all down the elevator shaft. The fairies instantly became honest, and the eyes looking at Meng Fan were only filled with fear. Meng Fan pulled Chen Yao out from behind. Who bullied you? Tell me. Chen Yao was moved by the scene just now. Her man is so handsome. He pointed at the 2 old guys without hesitation. She, and him. When old lady Li and old man's son saw Chen Yao coming out of the house, they shouted that it was not good, and they wanted to hide in the crowd. Seeing that they were discovered, they immediately shrank back. They were friends of Lu Dezhu and Wang Fang, playing cards every day and walking close to each other. They helped to insult Chen Yao when the Lu family came to make trouble that day. Almost all the words bitch and mistress came from their mouths. It was so satisfying to scold at that time, but now, the retribution is even more satisfying. Little girl, don't spit blood. When did we bully you? We didn't beat you that day. It was the Lu family who did it. Shamelessly, he refused to admit it, but Meng Fan didn't care so much. He went up and beat 2 big cunts each. The sound resounded throughout the corridor. Then he dragged the 2 old guys and threw them in front of Chen Yao. It's right for them too. Yes, it's them. Chen Yao's eyes were full of hatred. Hit them as you like, until you are satisfied. Is this, okay? What are you afraid of with me here? I'll give you an example. Meng Fan grabbed Old Man Sun and started to shoot left and right. Even though he reduced his strength, Old Man Sun was still beaten to a pulp. The skinny old man was visibly swollen like a fat man. The porcelain teeth burst into the face of the little fairy, who screamed in fear. I understand. Chen Yao's hands trembled slightly. She had been holding back a rage for a long time, and today she finally had a chance to take revenge, but she couldn't control her own strength, so she could only be careful and slap Old Lady Li lightly. Then, Old Lady Li flew more than a meter away, like a dog eating shit, and most of her dentures fell out. The whole audience was dead silent. This skinny girl, how could she be so strong? People flew away. Even the little fairies were stunned. How could this unbelievably beautiful woman be more terrifying than the stinky men who beat them? Old Lady Li spat out the few broken teeth left in her mouth, and her whole body was shaking. His son is a company executive with an annual salary of over 10 million. The daughter is also a powerful leader of a department in the system, and her connections are all over the public security, procuratorial and judicial organs. She has always been the only one who slapped the community security guards. When has anyone dared to slap her in the face? Furious. You dare to hit me. You dare to fight back. Old Lady Li rushed towards Chen Yao fiercely, but was caught by Meng Fan in the middle and her hands were twisted behind her back. He took her to Chen Yao. Continue, slap. Chen Yao mustered up her courage and swung her hands again. She shot left and right. She still couldn't control the power, but with Meng Fan's fixation, she couldn't fly away. After slapping Meng Fan's left hand, Old Lady Li started to slap Old Man Sun on Meng Fan's right hand. Her eyes became brighter and brighter. So, is it so fun to beat someone? No one dared to go up to stop the fight, and the whole corridor was filled with the sound of Chen Yao slapping. Chen Yao stopped, and Meng Fan threw the 2 half-dead old guys aside. Only a faint groan was left. Others dared not say a word, and all stepped back to distance themselves from Meng Fan and Chen Yao. This upstart from outside, don't mess with me. At this moment, the middle-aged man who had just called Meng Fan a upstart suddenly fell to the ground, spitting saliva and twitching all over. He suddenly started coughing, and then vomited blood. Everyone was stunned. What happened to Xiao Wang? He is allergic to pollen. It must be something in this fog that triggered his allergy. What kind of allergy can make people vomit blood? Hurry up and carry him into the house. Hey, I'm talking to you, why don't you open the door quickly? Everyone looked at Meng Fan. Some people were anxious, but some were overjoyed. It doesn't matter if you blocked us outside the door just now, and it doesn't matter if you don't want to open the door. But now someone is sick. If you don't open the door, it will be murder. Damn nouveau riche, murder, do you understand? That will lead to jail. Not to mention that they have so many people acting as witnesses. This time he didn't dare not open the door. As long as the door is opened, they will rush in. Can they be driven away after they stay? The more he thought about it, the more excited he became, and the more intense his urging became. I'm talking to you, why are you pretending to be deaf? Open the door quickly. Xiao Wang's uncle is the Secretary General of the city. If something happens to him, you will be in trouble. In response, Meng Fan only asked lightly, which floor does he live on? Xiao Wang lives on the first floor. What's wrong? First floor. Then there is basically no hope. Meng Fan glanced at the time on his hand and immediately pulled Chen Yao away. What do you mean hopeless? How can you be like this? Are you still human if you don't save someone? He just has a simple allergy. These people wanted to put pressure on Meng Fan, but Xiao Wang, who was shaking, suddenly opened his eyes. His eyeballs were filled with red bloodshot, as if countless bright red nematodes were struggling to take root in his eyeballs. The next second, he immediately turned over and threw the fairy closest to him to the ground. The 160 to 70 kilograms fairy was held down by Xiao Wang, bitten hard on the face, and then the whole body was torn backwards. The sound of flesh tearing exploded, and half of the fat face skin and the ear on that side were torn off by Xiao Wang, leaving half of the face covered with blood and flesh, blood splattered. And on the bloody face, the pale eyeballs were still twitching and spinning in pain. Ah, my face! Help, help! Let me go, save me! The little fairy wailed and struggled, but the sound stimulated Xiao Wang, who leaned over and bit directly on the throat. Blood sprayed onto the ceiling, and the wailing stopped abruptly, turning into the sound of gurgling blood-flowing foam. Chapter 47 System, I have killed all the people, why are you just bringing me the gift package? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Everyone at the scene was covered in blood, and was terrified by the scene before them. What happened to you, Xiao Wang? Monster. Xiao Wang has turned into a monster. Run! The remaining people finally reacted, screaming and running towards the stairs and elevator. Dozens of people ran together, and the scene was horrifying. Oh my God, I'm scared to death. Even LV Jiechi stopped crying about chest pain, and rushed to the nearest staircase with his hands and feet. Old Lady Li and Old Man Sun also limped to catch up with LV Jiechi, but the people who rushed to the elevator were miserable. They pressed the elevator switch frantically, but the elevators, which were always fast, all stopped downstairs and did not go up. The shouting and crying obviously startled Xiao Wang. Xiao Wang turned around from the bite, but he did not stand up. His hands and feet crawled on the ground like a spider, rushing towards the crowd at an incredible speed, blocking them at the end of the corridor. Help! Don't kill me! Don't come over here! Don't run around, you stepped on me! Frightened, holding their heads and running around, colliding and falling to the ground, bitten and infected by Xiao Wang one by one, the fairy who bit off the retreat also twitched violently, and quickly stood up and joined the killing. The fairy, who was already 160 to 170 kilograms, turned into a tank directly. Not only was she swift and powerful, but even men couldn't withstand her impact, biting, infection. More and more people turned into monsters and twitching. In the end, there were not enough living people to share, and several monsters worked together to bite a person and forcibly tore off the person's limbs. The corridor was stained with blood, wailing, crying, and asking for help, but they couldn't stop their wailing to the crowd. Despair, spreading. Why don't you bite them? There are 2 more people there. What are you doing standing there? 2 of you, come and save us. The last few people saw Meng Fan and Chen Yao standing not far from the corridor calling for help. They were even more puzzled. Why didn't this monster bite you? Why? Chen Yao was completely stunned, but Meng Fan held her in his arms and covered her mouth, so she couldn't make any sound. They didn't make any sound, and they were far away and not splashed with blood, so the monster's first reaction was to chase other people. Meng Fan's low voice came to my ears. This thing is called a human spider. It has average strength and can only chase prey by hearing and smell. It is very fast. We won't provoke them if we don't make any sound. Chen Yao's eyes widened. It's so fast, so many people died, this is still called average strength? Husband, is there something wrong with your judgment criteria? Relax, if you can guarantee that you won't scream, I'll let you go. Seeing Chen Yao nod, Meng Fan let go. Without going forward to help, he quickly took out the 416 Hong Kong dollars assault rifle and installed a silencer, and quickly took out a gas mask and bulletproof vest for Chen Yao to wear and gave him a silencer pistol. They are all going to be infected. Should we hide back home first? Chen Yao's fingers were shaking as she held the gun, and she was very confused. She had also seen many monster movies. At this time, she could either take the opportunity to hide back home or kill these monsters, but Meng Fan did nothing and watched these people get infected. What does this mean? But Meng Fan smiled in a low voice, why run? These are good things. At this moment, everyone has been infected and turned into human spiders, lying on the ground like dogs, sniffing their noses to search for new prey. You retreat first. Meng Fan slowly raised the 416 Hong Kong dollars assault rifle. With the master-level combat skills given by the system, Meng Fan now feels that the pistol is like a part of his body. There is no need to aim to know that every shot will never miss. Beep beep beep. A series of bursts, a series of human spider heads exploded on the spot. Every shot is fatal, and every bullet hits the target. But killing more than a dozen human spiders in a row is Meng Fan's limit. As the gunshots broke out, the other spiders immediately moved sideways quickly, heading towards Meng Fan's position at an unprecedented speed. The bullets could no longer accurately kill him. Chen Yao was so scared that she also pulled the trigger, but her reaction was completely unable to keep up with the speed of the spiders, and all the bullets missed. Her face instantly turned a few paler, so fast. What to do? At this time, a spider suddenly jumped up, opened his arms and legs and hugged Meng Fan fiercely. Once he hugged, what awaited Meng Fan was biting and infection. Chen Yao was so scared that she almost screamed, but at this time, Meng Fan smiled faintly and pulled Chen Yao behind him. I saw a sharp blade flashing in Meng Fan's hand, and the spider above his head was still attacking the previous second, and the next second it was split in half in the air with a click. The fragments fell from both sides of Meng Fan's body to the ground and slid backwards, and the broken internal organs and bones were scattered all over the ground. Blood splattered, but not. A piece fell on Meng Fan and Chen Yao. A 1-meter-long tang sword appeared in Meng Fan's hand. It was this sword that just split the human spider in half. There was a hissing sound behind his head, and the other human spider wanted to pounce from the side and back to bite Meng Fan's right foot, but with a click, Meng Fan chopped off the guy's crown with one kick. The head exploded like a watermelon, and the headless body curled up after struggling. The other human spiders trembled with fear, and they rarely stopped their steps to kill. Meng Fan's mouth corners raised with pride. The spiders are fast and fierce, but they are very timid. As soon as they find their companions being killed, they will panic. This is my chance. I'll be back soon. Before the spiders could recover, Meng Fan had already killed them. The two dog-leg knives turned into a storm of sharp blades in his hands. The knives fell. In an instant, more than a dozen spiders' heads flew up, with disbelief on their faces. Hiss! The rest of the spiders reacted immediately and surrounded Meng Fan at the same time, but before they could get close, a lot of cold light came at them. The dog-leg knife that Meng Fan flew out turned into a strangling blade. The huge force not only chopped into the spiders' bodies, but also knocked all the spiders down in the air by inertia. He turned over and kicked the spiders who attacked from behind with a whip kick. The whole head exploded on the spot, and the blood splashed on the wall with a foul smell. Under Meng Fan's 5-star perception, these human spiders had no chance to sneak attack Meng Fan, and in front of Meng Fan's 8-star power, these human spiders were like ants that would be crushed with a pinch. Kill, kill, kill. Meng Fan was like a tireless killing machine. In just a moment, more than 40 human spiders were surrounded and wiped out by Meng Fan. Meng Fan stood on the corpse, bathed in blood, like a demon descending to earth. Awesome! Meng Fan clenched his fists and wanted to roar to the sky. It was so cool. If he relied on his past combat skills, he could only deal with 3 or 4 human spiders at most. No matter how many there were, he would be at risk of infection, but now he has exchanged a combat skills package from the system. After integrating various combat skills, these human spiders are garbage to him. His own system never lets him down. Chen Yao covered her mouth in the distance, and her whole body was trembling. She saw with her own eyes how terrifying the human spiders were. One of them blocked more than 40 people at the end of the corridor and slaughtered them all, but Meng Fan alone strangled these more than 40 human spiders with a light touch. What kind of fighting power is this? But soon found something wrong. Meng Fan, look at these corpses. They are breathing. They have entered your body. I know, this is what I want. Meng Fan closed his eyes and quietly felt the changes in his body at this moment. The blood mist floating from the corpses of the killed human spiders will merge into the body of the killer, which is also the fastest way for humans to obtain blood mist energy. If they are not killed, they can only rely on breathing a small amount of blood mist in the air every day to slowly accumulate, and the awakening time will be much slower. Meng Fan just let Xiao Wang infect other people, otherwise how can he quickly accumulate blood mist in his body? Of course, I have to use the waste that is delivered to my door. Meng Fan can feel that his body has improved, but after absorbing so much, I feel that my body has only improved a little bit. Meng Fan is not surprised, he is already an awakener, and the human spider is just the most common monster in the blood mist. It seems that the speed is terrifying, but as long as you are familiar with their attack methods, it is not difficult for ordinary humans to deal with them. It is not surprising that I have not improved. At this time, the system sounded a prompt, ding, blood mist descends, the world falls, ... In order to better adapt the master to the survival rhythm of the Doomsday, the system now presents a survival gift package. Meng Fan was speechless. I have already killed all the people, why did you bring this gift package just now? Chapter 48 Eye of Insight, Meng Fan's Strange Way of Upgrading. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Meng Fan pouted, why are you so slow in giving rewards this time? I just finished killing them before they came out. Master, how can you blame me? It's because you are too strong. You finished killing them before the system could give you rewards. Okay, Meng Fan can accept this reason. What's in the survival package, Master? Please wait. The survival package is being opened. Congratulations to the Master for obtaining a special ability, Eye of Insight. Eye of Insight, it can see the target's information and current status, and assist in combat and life. It can be turned on or off actively. When turned on, it will consume the Master's mental power. Note, Eye of Insight is an upgradable ability. When the proficiency is sufficient, the upgrade program level will be turned on. Current proficiency, 0%. Meng Fan thought he was rewarded with an attribute fruit again, but he didn't expect it to be an ability. This is something even rarer than an attribute fruit. You can even reward abilities. Master, please don't underestimate this system. This system has no functions. It just needs to meet certain conditions to be given. There will be no such good benefits in the future. Hearing the system's very arrogant answer, Meng Fan realized, it seems that his system is much more powerful than he imagined. Very good. Looking forward to it. Eye of Insight is turned on, and the world in front of Meng Fan has changed. All objects are shrouded in a gray color, including the human spider corpse on the ground. What do these colors mean, Master? Gray means that such things are not threatening to you, yellow means that they are threatening to you, the darker the color, the greater the threat to the Master, and red is the highest level. If you encounter a red monster or thing, the system advises the Master to stay away immediately. Meng Fan nodded and focused his attention on the corpse. Name, Human Spider. Identity, Human Mutant. Level, Level 1. Strength, 2 stars. Physical Strength, 3 stars. Perception, 3 stars. Features, biting with a weak poison attribute for continuous damage, weak infection, can only infect targets with physical strength of 3 stars and below. Evaluation, the most common mutant in the blood mist. Good at climbing and biting, fast, weak strength, depending on the infected individual, has intelligence but not much. The owner has successfully killed the mutant, and the monster illustration is now opened. Human Spider has been included. You can directly see the information of the monster, and there is a monster illustration to view the information of various monsters. Really good. There was no such information in the previous life, and the so-called human spider was just a name given to them spontaneously after everyone saw it too much. The monster information Meng Fan knew came from the internet, all of which were the experiences summarized on the spot by the companions who survived after the death of the person involved. This inevitably led to the fact that the information would not match the facts. Some people even specially fabricated various false information to retaliate against society, killing many people. But now with the Eye of Insight, even if you see a new monster, you can immediately see all the information, and avoid misjudgment in battle to the greatest extent. But the function of the Eye of Insight is not limited to this. Name, Chen Yao. Appearance, 90 points, pure natural, type, cold beauty, character, 10 points, comprehensive evaluation of the HR department, senior HR employee, strength, 5 stars, physical strength, 2 stars, perception, 3 stars, hidden attribute, soulmate, current status, bound, devoted to the owner. Based on the information of the Goddess Treasure Book, the attribute data is additionally expanded, and the target's true inner thoughts about oneself can be seen. This is quite powerful. In the future, Meng Fan will no longer have to find ways to test whether his woman is qualified. Very good, but when Meng Fan closed the eye of insight, a strong sense of emptiness suddenly swept over him. The whole person felt like he was about to be hollowed out. It was only open for 2 minutes. At this consumption rate, Meng Fan felt that he could only last for 10 minutes at most. How long will it take to reach full proficiency? Why is the mental power consumption so high? Can't you help me lower the mental power consumption? Or what can you do to reward me with a perception fruit? Master, this is unnecessary. Meng Fan was a little puzzled. What do you mean by unnecessary? Forget it. I have to improve my perception in the future, but if I want to improve my attributes, I can only find the perception fruit or increase my awakening level. At this time, Meng Fan suddenly remembered a point that he had overlooked in the past. Just like monsters have various levels, awakeners also have levels. A human who has just awakened is equivalent to level 1. In the future, he will continue to absorb blood mist, and his physical fitness and the effects of his supernatural powers will also be improved as his level increases. But his supernatural power is a system, so how do I calculate the level of this awakener? System, can I only improve my own attributes by absorbing blood mist, and cannot further improve my superpowers? Master, don't worry, your superpower is the system, and the improvement of the awakener level will be reflected in your system upgrade. After the system upgrade, more new functions and new permissions will be opened, so the master can kill monsters to help the system upgrade. This system will also cooperate with your work as much as possible to provide the best service. Our purpose is, so that's how it is. System upgrades are equivalent to superpowers and awakeners. Meng Fan opened the system panel, and sure enough, a small progress bar appeared in the upper right corner. The martial arts energy just absorbed has filled up the progress bar a little bit. It seems that just as the system said, it is far more than just returning 10,000 times. Meng Fan, you are too awesome. Chen Yao was just immersed in Meng Fan's fighting posture and couldn't extricate herself. Only then did she react. Her pretty face flushed, and her eyes were almost drawn when she looked at Meng Fan. Her man is so awesome. Following Meng Fan is really the most correct decision in her life, but the excitement only lasted for a moment on Chen Yao's face, and she was shocked back to reality in the wailing and crying. The whole world has been filled with all kinds of wailing. Meng Fan took out the tablet to check the surveillance. Just like the 11th floor where Meng Fan was, the other floors had already fallen. Those who were soaked and burned by the rain collectively turned into monsters. The incident happened suddenly, and the family members and neighbors who were taking care of them were pounced on and bitten to death before they could react. The corridor immediately turned into a bloody slaughterhouse. The walls and the ground were stained red with blood, and torn arms and torsos were scattered everywhere. A large number of human spiders were crawling on the corpses and feasting. The red pupils were extremely creepy under the faint blood mist. Nearly half of the people were infected on the spot, and some tried to escape into the house but did not have time to close the door, and were swarmed in and bitten to death at the door by human spiders. Only a very small number of survivors were lucky enough to lock the human spiders outside, but there were also many people who were scratched and bitten. Now they have become monsters and are frantically slaughtering their wives and children in their own homes. The screen cannot be seen, but the wailing and begging for mercy captured by the microphone are enough to make people understand how tragic the slaughter inside is. Meng Fan continued to switch. The lower the floor, the more tragic the death, especially on the 4th and 5th floors. The wounded were basically concentrated in this area, and the momentum of the outbreak was the strongest. Until Meng Fan reopened the surveillance camera of the parking lot on the first underground floor, blood filled the air and there was a dead silence. It was like the bottom of hell. Chen Yao was speechless. He felt that the entire residential building had turned into a huge hell. The closer to the bottom, the more suffocating the scene was, but now is not the time to care about these things. Meng Fan, someone is rushing upstairs. Chapter 49 Chen Yao awakens, the strongest assistant. You are listening at novelfull.audio. While Chen Yao was speaking, a long line of figures in front of the camera continued to pass by and rush up the stairs. At the same time, a large number of human spiders were chasing behind them, and some people were constantly being bitten to death. He had already rushed to the 9th floor and was about to reach his 11th floor. Help, they're catching up. Writing this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network. Is there anyone up there? Who can save us? The cry came from the stairs, getting closer and closer. Meng Fan pulled Chen Yao and quickly rushed to the stairs. During the renovation, Meng Fan specially installed an enhanced version of the extra-large security door at the entrance of the stairs. As long as it was closed, it could completely block the crowds and monsters coming up from below. When the two of them arrived at the stairs, they happened to bump into the crowd coming up from below. Meng Fan was stunned. He was actually an acquaintance. It's Chen Yao. It's great to have you here. Come and give us a hand. Zhao Ziqian ran at the front of the crowd, ecstasy welling up on her panicked and desperate face. The same goes for the people behind you. No one cares how Meng Fan got the 416 Hong Kong dollars assault rifle. They only know that Meng Fan can stand here with the weapon, which means there are no monsters on this floor. After running through so many levels, they were finally saved. There are no monsters on your level, right? Help us quickly. Quickly shoot the monster behind. Excited shouts came and went, with the hope of survival, but Meng Fan did not fire. He saw Zhao Ziqian's outfit. She was wearing pajamas and obviously had nothing on underneath, but she couldn't afford to buy a house here. Behind Zhao Ziqian, an old Mediterranean man was also wearing pajamas and running wildly. It was obvious that Zhao Ziqian was secretly carrying out private business tonight without telling his master Qin. It's true that a dog can't change its habit of eating shit. Meng Fan's mouth turned sarcastic. Under everyone's horrified gaze, the iron door slammed shut with a bang. This road is blocked. No, the expressions of Zhao Ziqian and others seemed to have fallen from heaven to hell in an instant. Meng Fan not only blocked the stairs leading to the 11th floor, but also blocked the stairs leading to the upper floors. The road to survival turns into a road to death in the blink of an eye. No. You can't block us here. You two bastards, open the door quickly. The corridor is a public resource. You have no right to lock us out. That he cried and begged, but Meng Fan behind the door remained indifferent. He even lit a cigarette, locked the door and wrapped a chain around the door handle. Chen Yao looked in disbelief. Meng Fan, you are like this. You also saw the monsters they attracted behind them. They led us all the way up from the 4th floor. How much will we accumulate on the way? Can we stop it with just the two of us? Besides, can you guarantee that no one among them was injured? I admit that some people's bodies can indeed resist infection, but the vast majority of people cannot. Even if they don't turn into monsters now, it may just be that their physique is better, which delays the outbreak of infection. I won't risk my life. As soon as he finished speaking, the crowd had already rushed to the door. Please, we don't want to die. You son of a bitch, open the door for me. I order you to open the door. I can give you money, no matter how much you want. Some cried, some begged, and some cursed angrily. They were all banging against the door, but Meng Fan's door cost a lot of money to build, and the materials used were military-grade super alloy armor that could withstand serial blasts of explosives. These slaps and impacts are not even itchy to the alloy door. Chen Yao, I was wrong. I shouldn't have stolen your boyfriend before, and I shouldn't have bullied you. Please let me in, I don't want to die. Zhao Ziqian was still making her final struggle, but Meng Fan could completely ignore it. As roars approached quickly from below, the cries and pleas for help immediately turned into howls and screams. The banging on the door suddenly became frantic, but then quickly weakened until it completely disappeared. Separated by a door, Meng Fan and Chen Yao could clearly hear the crunching sounds of flesh and bones from the outer door, as well as the crackling sounds of chewed bones. Chen Yao turned. pale with fright. If they had not closed the door just now, they would have been like these people. Meng Fan was very calm and lit a second cigarette. This is the end. Any extra mercy may cost you your life. Yao Yao, you need to change your thinking now and abandon all the old ideas in the past. Remember one thing, as far as you are concerned, as long as you can survive, whatever you do is right. These words were like bells in the morning and drums in the evening, leaving Chen Yao stunned on the spot and at a loss. Although it was hard to accept, she knew Meng Fan is right. When you can't survive yourself, why do you care what others do? What's more, this Xiao Ziqian brought the blame on herself. It's the end of the world. Chen Yao, please wake up. Seeing the look in Chen Yao's eyes, Meng Fan knew that Chen Yao had slowly started to get into the role. This is good, but Meng Fan didn't do all this simply to block the monster below. Chen Yao, it's time for you to kill monsters. Huh? Me? Of course, how can you awaken without killing zombies? Our goal today is to make you an awakener as well. Chen Yao's eyes were full of confusion. There are many spiders, no doubt about that. But they were all blocked on the other side of the door. Even if Meng Fan had a gun, how could they kill the monsters on the opposite side through the heavy alloy door? You can't open the door to fight, but Chen Yao was stunned. I saw Meng Fan rubbing a position on the door and inputting the password. Click, a hole appeared at the bottom of this door. It was only the size of a bowl, but it connected the two sides, and you could clearly see the footsteps of the spiders climbing outside. There were also corpses that were constantly bitten and squirming. Then Meng Fan took out a grenade and stuffed it into Chen Yao's hand. Throw it out, and you will have everything. This is all right. Chen Yao suddenly realized why Meng Fan was not frowning when he saw the crowd rushing upstairs just now, but excited. Meng Fan suddenly punched the alloy door. The loud noise startled the spiders outside the door, and they all rushed to the gate. There was even a trampling, and the sound of broken bones came one after another. Throw it. Chen Yao did not hesitate, pulling the safety and throwing it into the cave entrance quickly. Meng Fan locked the cave entrance at the same time. Boom. The huge explosion was deafening, and the alloy door was still as solid as a mountain, but the roar outside was instantly reduced. With such a crowd, this explosion killed at least more than 20 spiders. A large amount of blood mist energy rushed in from the gaps in the gate and merged into Chen Yao's body. Chen Yao only felt that her physical fitness was rapidly improving, and she even felt an inexplicable feeling of fullness, but this was just the beginning. The spiders outside can't be killed in one go. Meng Fan opened the cave entrance and let Chen Yao do the same. The second round, the third round, the fourth round, Chen Yao kept throwing grenades, and the blood mist energy continued to flow into her body, and the feeling of fullness became stronger and stronger. Suddenly she screamed, "Hubby, I feel like I'm about to awaken." As soon as she finished speaking, a feeling of great joy surged through her body. Chen Yao felt like she was in the ocean, with huge waves washing her body. Her originally fair skin became as smooth as cream, and all aspects of her body were comprehensively improved. Meng Fan opened the Eye of Insight. Name, Chen Yao, Level 1 Awakener. Appearance, 90 points. Type, Aloof Beauty. Character, 10 points. Comprehensive Evaluation of the Human Resources Department, Senior Human Resources. Employee. Strength, 6 stars. Physical Strength, 3 stars. Perception, 7 stars. Hidden Attribute, Soulmate. Current Status, Bound, Devoted to the Master. Every attribute has been improved, and perception has been improved the most, surpassing Meng Fan, but Meng Fan is most concerned about Chen Yao's awakening ability. Psychic Field. Psychic Field. Level 1. The psychic field can cover a range of 50 meters around and add 30% of its own perception attribute to teammates. The higher the awakened person's perception star level, the better the improvement effect. Sure enough, the system did not lie to him. Meng Fan was overjoyed. When he ate power grapes, Meng Fan ate until he vomited, and only then did he improve his strength attribute by 3 stars. Now a psychic field can improve Meng Fan by 2 stars. As Chen Yao's awakening level and perception star level increase, the effect will be even stronger. It really deserves to be an S-level hidden attribute. Chen Yao, turn on your psychic field and try it. Is this thing called a psychic field? Chen Yao just had a thought, and an invisible breath immediately spread from her. Meng Fan could clearly feel the improvement of his own perception, and everything around him became clearer and more precise. Even some details in the distant corridor became clearer than ever before. He could even vaguely feel the state of those spiders behind the door lingering after the explosion through the door. This feeling is amazing. But the more amazing thing is still to come. Chapter 50. The whole world is wailing and crying. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The goddess consumes mental power to activate the spiritual power field, activating the 10,000 times return effect. Meng Fan felt a terrifying mental power in his body like a raging tide. Not only did it instantly replenish the mental power consumed by the Eye of Insight, but the excess mental power almost blew his head off. Fuck. Meng Fan was stunned for 3 seconds. A national quintessence, the mental power consumed by his own woman can be activated and returned 10,000 times. Meng Fan finally understood why the system said no need just now, because this is directly overflowing. With this effect, there is no need to worry about mental power. Master, this is the routine use of the system, please don't make a fuss for no reason. The arrogant voice of the system sounded in his mind. Although he couldn't see it, Meng Fan felt that her little mouth was about to rise to the sky. System, you can. Yao, you continue here. Meng Fan stuffed the other grenades to Chen Yao and turned to block other entrances and exits. All fire safety passages were locked and tied from the inside with pre-prepared iron chains. He took out the elevator door key that he secretly got and locked the elevator door. He checked again to make sure everything was safe. Chen Yao had also killed all the human spiders that rushed behind the door. There were estimated to be nearly 100 of them. A large amount of blood mist energy was integrated into her body, making her feel full of energy. She relaxed but smelled a foul odor. Although there was no direct battle, the corridor was full of human spider corpses. It would be strange if they didn't stink. Honey, I stink. I'm going to take a shower first. Go. Meng Fan still needed to stay and clean up. In the blood mist, everything will rot quickly, including open food and corpses. The smell of rot will attract all kinds of dirty things. In the blood mist world, even if it attracts mosquitoes and flies, it is likely to carry deadly germs. Meng Fan glanced at the time on his watch. It was still raining outside, but the acidity and infection ability had dropped a lot at this time. As an awakener, Meng Fan's physical strength reached 5 stars, so he would not be infected even if he was splashed by rain. To be on the safe side, Meng Fan put on a raincoat. Opening the window in the corridor, endless wailing instantly filled Meng Fan's ears. Son, don't you recognize your mother? Let me go. Husband, don't abandon me and the child. The massacre in the community continued. Meng Fan could see the bright corridor in the building opposite, where people kept running up, and the spiders behind them were chasing them relentlessly. With the perception amplification, Meng Fan could even see the fear on their faces. Meng Fan shook his head. In fact, the spider's strength was a little smaller than that of most adult men, at this time. If you muster up the courage to turn back and kill the spiders, you can still survive. Otherwise, the number of monsters will only increase as they continue to be infected, and escaping to the top floor will also be a dead end. But in panic, humans will instinctively flee, which also doomed these people to tragedy. No longer paying attention, dragging the corpses one by one to the window and throwing them down the building, the heavy objects fell to the ground with a dull roar, and soon the movement attracted something. There were dense gnawing sounds under my feet. There were also some unusual and weird chewing sounds. Thick blood mist and darkness obscured everything, and it was impossible to see what it was. But at this time, those who could walk in blood mist and acid rain would definitely not be good people. Meng Fan didn't want to attract all these things to his downstairs. Change direction and throw the remaining corpses as far as possible. After doing all this, Meng Fan returned to the shelter and heard Chen Yao taking a shower in the bathroom. Swallowed his saliva. Chen Yao successfully awakened, and all aspects of her body were improved. The taste should be very different from before. What's more, Meng Fan has been coveting the hidden effect of soulmate for a long time. Cough cough cough. Suddenly I want to eat a midnight snack. In the bathroom, warm water flows down Chen Yao's exquisite curves, taking away fatigue and tension. Chen Yao looks at herself in the mirror. Even now, she is still afraid. If she had not been left by Meng Fan to fight yesterday, but had boarded the train home with her mother's ashes, and suddenly encountered a monster on the road. How desperate she would be. Now she not only survived, but also successfully awakened. Thanks to my husband, otherwise I would have died. So how do you want to repay me? Suddenly, there was a chuckle, and the bathroom door behind her opened. When she turned around, she saw Meng Fan looking at her with burning eyes. Chen Yao was frightened. I'm a little tired, husband. No, you're not tired. Chen Yao was about to resist, but was hugged by Meng Fan from behind. Her cherry lips pursed slightly. Hate, can't you wait for me to finish washing? The beauty was in his arms, and he felt the delicate and silky feeling that was completely different from the past. Sure enough, after awakening, his little cutie was completely different. He could finally let go and enjoy himself, without worrying too much about his baby getting hurt. Ahem, I can't help it. But this is not enough. Turn it on. What? Of course it's the spiritual power field. I want to experience what different experiences will be when the perception is raised to the highest level. Chen Yao's face was flushed. This guy, why is he like this? But he still did it obediently. The moment the psychic field was activated, both of them shuddered in shock. Help, how can this perception enhancement be so deadly? At this moment, the outside world is full of wailing, pain, despair. There are also cries in the bathroom, but they are high-pitched and melodious, one after another, complementing each other. Another all-night egg beating. The next day, Meng Fan slept until the sun. Meng Fan himself did not expect that the effect would be so unforgettable. The perception enhancement made him unable to control himself, and the double strengthening of Chen Yao's awakening and the fruit of power on the body was simply amazing, except for Zhao Muqing's recklessness in the private room. This was the first time Meng Fan let go of all the shackles. He was himself completely, in one word, cool. But the little baby Chen Yao was miserable. Looking down, Chen Yao was curled up in the snow-white quilt like a kitten, constantly pursing her lips. Thirsty, bad guy. I said I don't want it. The more you look at her, the cuter she is. The acid rain outside continued, and it was still impossible to go out. After a night of fighting outside, it was coming to an end, and the wailing was all covered by the sound of rain. Meng Fan turned over and got out of bed and walked onto the balcony. The sun rose, and he could finally see the scene outside. At the moment, looking around, there was a thick blood mist under his feet, like a bloody sea that flooded all the streets and rolled with the wind. The low buildings have been completely submerged, and the tall buildings are like lighthouses standing in the sea of blood, lonely and helpless. Through the window, you can see that many people in the residential building next door are hiding in their houses and shivering. The corridor is covered with blood, and the spiders are still cruising in search of delicious food. Meng Fan opened the owner group on his mobile phone. There are still various voices for help in the owner group of the west area of Fenghua community, but the frequency and number are much less than when the Doomsday just came last night. Looking at this number, at least half of the people are dead. Are there any living people in our building? I live on the 4th floor, and there are monsters all around us. Yes. I'm hiding in the power distribution room on the 8th floor, and I don't know if the monsters outside have left. I don't even dare to pee. Can anyone come and save me? May the best of luck to you. Who dares to go out now? Several messages for help caught Meng Fan's attention. Help, we're hiding in the corridor on the 18th floor. Is there anyone who can take us in? We don't want to die.